Assalamu alaikum, boys and girls. Why are you guys still here, by the way? I'm doing this because I feel compelled to. I thought that you'd all be bored of me thrashing him every day, but I guess this is more entertaining than I thought. Let's get to the video.
I want to talk about a specific phrase that you hear very often from moderate Muslim apologists.
Bismillah. Everyone knows I'm not a moderate, so let's see if this is a phrase that I'm really going to attach myself to.
If you're hearing and reading a lot about Islam, you might have heard the phrase a lot. There is no compulsion in religion.
Really? Only moderate Muslims? This isn't going to end well.
The phrase comes from the Quran, in chapter 2, verse 256. It goes, "There is no compulsion in religion. The right course has become clear from the wrong."
Apparently, only moderate Muslims use the Quran. Traditional conservative Muslims like myself apparently only accept, the Old Testament.
Now, I want to stay fair, but I want to make 2 points in advance about this Quran verse. The first point is that this Quran verse was revealed at a much earlier time than later verses like the sword verse that order to fight the non-Muslims wherever you find them. It was also most likely revealed long before verse 29 in chapter 9, where the Quran orders the Muslims to fight all those who don't believe in Islam and to force the jizya on them. This is an important point because if you are familiar with Islamic theology, you should know that if some Quran verses contradict each other in any way, the verse that was revealed later is more valid. The Quran makes that very clear.
Actually, there's no contradiction between both verses since they are referring to different scenarios. More importantly, major scholars of Quranic commentaries hold the view that there is no abrogation here. These include Ibn Abbas, Mujahid, Qatada, Nahas, Makki bin Abi Talib, and other scholars that Ridvan has never heard of.
The second point is that many scholars, even very important ones like Ibn Kathir, said that a large number of verses, including the no compulsion verse, have either been partially or completely abrogated and practically replaced by the order of fighting them.
Actually, I have Ibn Kathir's tafsir right here in front of me, and I do not find Ibn Kathir saying such a thing. Instead, he says that only some people held the view that this is abrogated. His word choice itself implies that he leans towards the view that there was no abrogation at all.
It only makes sense to think that the no compulsion verse has been at least partially abrogated, because there is a specific ruling in Islam that we all know by now. The dhimmi system and the jizya.
Wallah, I don't know how this is proof for forced conversions, but let's go on.
When Muslims confront non-Muslim people in the cause of expanding Islam, they are obligated to give the non-Muslims 3 choices. 1. Convert to Islam and there will be no fighting. 2. Pay the jizya and you will be subjected under Islamic rule as a lesser people. And, well, die.
Alright, so I've covered this in the link that you'll be able to find in the description below. The jizya is a very small amount of money, and the amounts that the Muslims had to pay themselves due to zakat were actually higher than the jizya amounts. So Crimea River, Ridvan, nobody cares. Again, link in the description.
As you can see, in this clearly detailed and complete Islamic rule, the words "there is no compulsion in religion" are not a promise of peace. There is no promise of peace in Islam.
The promise of peace comes at the price of a minimal amount that goes to the government. How can one even equate this to forced conversions? As I've said before, it was more financially lucrative to be a non-Muslim than to be a Muslim due to how low the jizya was. Let's carry on.
According to major Islamic scholars like Ibn Kathir, no compulsion in religion means that you can't go to an individual and at gunpoint force him to become a Muslim. But Islamic texts make a difference between individuals and the tribes or nations they belong to. No compulsion in religion does not mean that Muslims can't fight non-Muslims and subjugate them.
Ridvan again seems to be unaware that much of the Islamic conquests occur through sulh, meaning that there was no bloodshed, but the towns and cities instead accepted to come under Islamic rule.
In both cases, I explained that non-Muslims and Muslims don't have equal rights under Islam. What's also important to note is that under Muhammad, the dhimmi system and the jizya were only applied to Christians, Jews, Sabians, and later to Zoroastrians. That's why fundamentalist Muslims view the dhimmi system and the jizya to be applied only to those groups. Other groups can be fought and killed without having such an option. Convert to Islam or die.
Or convert to Christianity, or Judaism, or Zoroastrianism, or become a Sabian, or they could just leave. Either way, none of these options can be considered forced conversions to Islam.
As you can see, no compulsion in religion does not mean that everyone is free to practice their own religion freely. That was never the case until the Muslim world started to be westernized and modernized.
Yeah, we've been through this. I don't really have anything more to add. Ridvan wasn't able to show any evidence of forced conversions. I'm done. Yalla ya habibi, take care. Peace out. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.